What's going on, everybody?
Oh, I thought he was talking to them.
I was talking to them.
Okay, great.
I just wanted to do...
There was such a long pause. I was like, oh, I think we're supposed to be things.
No, I wanted an awkward long pause. Anyways, guys, today we are again at this lovely young gentleman's office slash showroom. Showroom. Light Harvest Solar. Today I brought in a special guest. You guys may recognize her, Sydney from Divine on the Road. Brought her in because...
Say it, it's fine.
Okay, she's not as knowledgeable in the electrical field as some others. So I brought her in so she can ask Miles some questions and we can talk solar.
It down for us all.
I didn't want to say that.
I know somebody out there is going to be like, what is... Miles is just so intelligent when it comes to this that sometimes he's talking and I'm just like, what you're saying sounds so great, but I'm not sure what you're actually saying.
Today's video is going to be all about solar panels. We brought in Miles, the expert. I don't want to say dummy because I don't like calling people that.
But, myself, that is fine.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I'm smart at other things, but not solar.
So it's going to be a three-way conversation about all things solar. Here we go. What's up, Miles and Sydney? How are you?
Good. Doing great.
Awesome. We're gonna go over solar in this whole video, and at the end of this video, well, Miles has a surprise for us. I'll leave that as a hanger for everybody. I don't know where to start. Maybe talk about the difference between your solar panels and others that are on the market out there that are not as commercial grade.
Okay, so basically there's two kinds of panels. There's panels that you can ship through the mail. They basically exist solely to be shipped through the mail, you know, UPS, FedEx, whatever. They're small, whole bunch of things that are not good, but they're easy. They're easy to get. And
when you say small, like what do you mean size-wise?
Big enough to ship, 50 inches by 30 inches,
okay,
or something like that. And then there's the industrial grade panels that go on houses and solar farms. There's basically two standardized sizes. They're much bigger. They're much more powerful, they're higher quality, they're lower price, they're UL rated, that's a big one. Hardly any of the small panels are UL rated.
What does UL mean?
Underwriter's Laboratory, certification that you get that means it'll go on your house. It's a really strict certification that makes it legal to put it on buildings, right?
So your panels you sell are UL rated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the smaller panels, anything you're gonna get sent by UPS, very likely is against the law to even put on a house.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Of course, the downside of this, there is absolutely a couple downsides. The biggest downside is they are too big to ship through the mail, and so they're really hard to get. And that's the biggest thing, is they're hard to get. But of course, I buy a pallet of them and then sell them as kits with everything you need. Generally have to buy a lot of them. I typically have to buy a full pallet, which is typically 30 of them, so most people don't want 30 of them. Sometimes I have to have a business license. I have to, of course, have a forklift to even get them off the truck, etc., etc.
Which, by the way, you have a solar-powered forklift. I just wanted to throw that out there to everybody.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
super cool. Yes, you do.
Down there.
Look at him, giddy about it.
Like a total geek. The long story short is there's really... If you can get a hold of the big panels, they're the way to go. The only time you wouldn't want to is if you didn't have the physical space for one of these.
Okay.
The biggest advantage is that I can do one panel of this. This one's a 370 watt, and it's a super tip top of the line 370. That'll easily outdo 4 100s, and it's way easier to install. They're higher quality. This is like the best panel, in my opinion, made in the whole world right now. It's a Solaria Power XT370. Whereas the small ones, not only do you go all the way down the quality grade of the industrial panels, but then you get into a whole nother class of the low production, highly variable quality, way more expensive per watt generally. And really the biggest problem with the low powered ones like the hundreds or something like that is they just don't do much for you. They just don't put out the juice. You got to have about 300 watts to live in a van or something like that very effectively. You can do with less. Any solar is a lot better than no solar. To really start to live the kind of lifestyle I like to live when I'm camping, which means cooking, hot water, and my electric blanket and lights, of course, and things, computers, phones, and things like that. But for the amount of electricity I like to have, you have to have about 300 watts. These are all of these are above that.
When I look at a panel, Miles, and I'm moving back because you have 4 panels here. When I look at a panel, all I see are like these cells, and then you go over there and they're like stacked differently. I don't know what the heck those do, why they're arrayed that way. I don't know why these 4 panels to me look like they just charge a battery the same way, right?
Essentially. Okay, so we're in a little bit of a unique time because I've got a bunch of different technologies that have gotten better, and it's basically oldest to newest. And I don't know that we'll get a little bit technical for a minute here. Basically, this here is what's called a 96 cell panel, and it's a nice shape and everything, but the electricity goes down and up and down and up, essentially, right?
Okay.
So what happens is there's a lot of cells in series is what it's called. So what happens is if I partially shade one of these, it's like a hose. Imagine the electricity goes through a hose, right? If I clamp the hose anywhere, the water stops, the flow totally stops.
Okay.
Right?
That is such a good way of explaining that, because people have always said if it's partially in shade, it just like ruins the whole thing.
That's
like,
right.
but I've never understood why at all.
So now do you get it?
100%. I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, good.
Like the hose thing makes total sense.
Yeah, and so this one has 96 of these, and any of them, if you shade, it's like clamping the hose, and no water goes anywhere. You lose all your electricity. Okay, this is called a 60 cell, and this was the industry standard for a really long time. It's got 60 cells. Same thing. They go through, you shade any of them, they clamp down, and you lose all of your electricity, essentially.
So same thing, partially shaded,
Yeah.
done.
The only real difference is this is a little less common of a panel. It has 96 cells. There's a few of them out there shaped a little bit different. For 290 watts, 325. This is a very nice panel. It's Canadian Solar. It's really high quality, but it's my budget panel right now, and it definitely has not as good of partial shading characteristics as these other next two. So now I'm going to skip this one for a minute, because this one, another kind of version of this. This panel right here is part of the reason why I think it's the highest performing and it's my favorite. Has lots and lots of little hoses. Is how you would visualize it, right? So it's got a little hose, a little hose, a little hose, a little hose, little hose, little hose, little hose, all into a big one, right? So if I cut that little hose off, who cares? I mean, I lose a little bit of power, but I've still got all these other hoses feeding. I've got all these other cells feeding, and they work fine. So I only lose basically this much of the cell. I mean, it's a little bit more dramatic than that, but that's pretty much what it is, right? So I can, if the partial shading, I can put my hand over it, and I'm certainly not going to lose the whole panel. Those ones I'll lose the whole panel just by my hand.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Right?
Can I just say something really quick?
Yes.
Why that's so important, and I've never heard anyone talk about this stuff, so I feel like a little kid in class on like my favorite subjects. Like when you're at a campsite and there's any tree, which this happens at every single
campsite.
Yeah, there's a tree and it's partially shaded, like a lot of times there's only a window, let's say I don't want to move for the day, there's only a window of like 3 hours midday when the sun is in a certain position where the whole solar panel's in sun, and then it goes right back to being behind the tree or whatever. So like you have to move your car in order to get solar for a long period of time. So like being able to be parked in, even just have a little bit of shade on it and actually get solar and charge your batteries is so important.
Yeah, and when you start actually doing it, you'd see a big difference. These are super impressive. Yeah,
these are the Rolls Royce of your solar panels.
In my opinion, this is the best solar panel ever made. I don't have any interest in carrying anything but that. You know what I mean? We're on a super quickly changing thing. The lithium batteries, everything. It's 1,000,000 miles an hour. If you're not on top of it, you're not on top of it. And any of these stuff. And this company is not selling this technology to any 100-watt panel companies. All of the big boys play in this game.
So you don't have a price on it.
Oh, I burned through these so fast. These are the 370s, and we just sold they came up from 360 watts, so they did improve a little bit every year. And we just got these in, and they're already gone. We haven't even had time to put a price tag on.
So 370 watts.
$550 for this.
550, 370 watts.
370 watts.
And what's the voltage on that? Because
50 volts.
Because that's important for people that understand that. The 100-watt panels, they pull in a less voltage than this does.
They do, and that's another big defining factor as to why those panels, they don't do me any good. They're all low voltage, okay? So when you have low voltage, you have very high amperage. Everything hates amps. All the wires hate amps, all the electronics hate amps, everything. High voltage is good. Basically what this means is I can transmit a lot more electricity through a lot smaller wire effectively. And you have to have an MPPT charge controller, which you want anyway, because it'll take that high voltage and turn it into high amperage. And I can show you really quickly exactly what I'm talking about.
Please.
This is input into this charge controller. This is output. So I have high voltage,
What do those numbers even mean?
33 volts. That's V for volts.
Okay.
33 volts. And low amps coming in, 2.6 amps.
Okay.
So I can transmit that down from my roof effectively at a really low amperage and a high voltage.
You have panels on your roof right now. What in your shop we're standing in right now? You have panels on your roof.
Yeah, I do have panels on my roof. I've got a lot of panels on my roof. 1,200 watts or 1,500 watts. I don't know. It changes. Most of them are broken, and they're the B all the way from the F grade to the B grade gears up there, and it works fine. But what you can see is high voltage, low amperage. It transforms that low voltage into high amperage. So this number's lower, the voltage, and this number's higher, the amperage. So that's how an MPPT works. That is the absolute only reason why you want an MPPT. You have to, it catches the voltage. So again, without getting really super technical, the low voltage panels are at about 20 volts. They use generally really inexpensive pulse width modulated charge controllers, a PWM, right? And so what that does is, in order to transmit the electricity, they have to have quite a lot higher voltage. So they're putting 20 volts at your battery, just putting it straight in. And the charge controller is just an on-off switch, on-off, 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 right? The battery's only going to take the 12 volts, no matter how much you put onto it. So it just, as it fills, the on-off switch just turns off. And since your panel is at 20 volts and your battery's at 12 volts, you lose 8 volts. Off to the wind, it's gone. You just don't ever get it. And that's why they say MPPTs are 30% better.
Okay.
When I'm using these high voltage panels, I would lose all of my power almost. So it gets pretty technical, but that's how they work. PWMs are just on-off switches, throwing 20 volts at your thing, you're losing a bunch of your power. It's not even close to the way to go. High volts, low amps, low volts, high amps. Okay, so
back to the panels.
same amount of power, might I add. Okay, so this panel kind of semi-revolutionized everything. Everybody's like, oh, we better figure this out. So that gets to this panel, which is in theory copying this, but in practice it's doing it differently. Instead of having all of these come in like this one has different ones coming in like this, right? So bigger hose, fewer number of bigger hoses,
okay,
right? You still have a lot of different hoses here, but you don't have as many. So if I partially shade it, then it's gonna cut this one off, but it will cut off a higher percentage of the panel on this one than this one. Right?
Okay.
So essentially, everybody, and these, of course, they're called split cell panels.
Okay.
And everyone does it now. It's the industry standard now.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This panel is 340 watts. That panel is, you said 350 watt?
370.
370. So it's 40 watt, 30 watt. Am I math correct on that?
Yeah,
Math 30 watt?
30 watts higher.
But yet, I'm looking down here.
I was just about to say that it's bigger.
This one on the right is bigger, but less wattage. How does that work?
Okay, I don't know for sure because I haven't done the physical area, but this one is actually wider.
Oh, it
by
is?
about 5 inches.
Oh, okay.
Right, which is really good for sprinters because it fits really good on
It doesn't look wider, does it?
Doesn't.
Cindy?
Not even, that's why I was like, maybe it's the angle I'm sitting at.
I think that one's 39 wide and I think this one's 44 wide.
Which is fine, still for sprinters or anything, any van.
This is why I sell so many of these for vans, for van lifers, is because they fit really good. They like fit perfect on it, right? They give you a little bit more room for fans and things.
What's the length?
64.
So 64 by 48? 44.
64, 44. This one is 69 essentially, 39 I believe.
And he said that you could put it widthwise, it just would hang off by like an inch or two on either side.
ProMasters are really easy to fit to these sideways. Sprinters will hang out about an inch on either side if you put them that way.
Which is nice because if you want air conditioning, vent fans, potentially a roof deck, other things, then
2 panels.
2 panels. Yeah.
That's amazing, actually.
Right.
So yeah, I've seen these going the opposite direction, not front to back, in all the vans pretty much.
Yeah, people are doing it for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and you can get, 2 of these are 720 watts. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. Let me get back to why you don't want the small panels.
Sorry.
I've got a lot to say. Okay, so if I had 2 of these would be 740 watts. What are you gonna do? Put seven panels together, 8 panels together, get under there all awkward and try and mount them, try to figure out how to run 7 panels. Good luck with that if you don't understand series and parallel, right?
True story. True story.
And then, and you're still going to get lower quality stuff. You're going to pay more for it. You're going to and then you can get into really bad problems because when you try to transmit that much power around at a low voltage, you need giant wires. Then they don't standardize the connections for that big of a wire. You run into all these problems. You have a heat, you lose all your power, blah blah blah. You can do it, but it doesn't go where it's not the best way, and it's not even close to the best way. It's okay if you want, if you just need to run lights, computers, and phones. The little panels are okay, and flexibles are even worse because they're the lowest quality, highest price. Absolutely.
I do have a question. So
Please.
you're talking about how hard they are to get. I think it would be nice if you kind of clarified how people can get them, because you said you can't mail them. So if somebody sees this and wants to buy one, what do they do?
Well,
okay, so
he sells them.
Right, but he can't mail them.
No, he can. No, he does mail them.
But you can mail these.
I do mail them, but most of my customers buy a full kit. So that means batteries, charge controllers, wiring, inverter, all the stuff. So what we do is we build a crate. If we build a crate and then we ship it on a semi truck. So if if you want, say you're in like New York or something like that, and you want one of these, we go through the whole thing. We build a crate, we ship it out. A semi truck shows up at your house. And they've already called and arranged for shipping, and then they pull it off, drop it, and then you've got kind of a big package that you have to deal with, but everything's
at least it's like all together.
Yeah, and then at that point, the shipping cost is, because we're shipping so much stuff, it's not as expensive. And we certainly can ship them, they're just expensive to ship, right?
Okay.
And which is worth it, in my opinion, because of the fact that you're going to save a lot of time and get a better product and all that kind of thing.
Or it's even worth, even a 10-hour drive up here. We're in
Portland.
Portland.
Do you sell them in person?
That's the best way because there's no shipping involved. There, we hand them out onesie, twosie, threes, whatever you want. We can build. We can build and design a kit with any amount of panels and send you off with everything you need: wires, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, lugs, fuses, breakers, whatever you need.
Everything. Can I, because you know that I'm very involved in the van life community, right? As you know, I am building out an overland Jeep. Can I technically take one of your panels and hook it up to maybe a kit that I built, or maybe the Light Harvest Solar portable station? Can I take one of these and hook it up to one of those? Yeah. Can I store it in my Jeep is what I'm asking.
Absolutely you can. The only thing that you need is an MPPT controller that will handle high voltage.
Where are you storing this in your Jeep?
Well, I'm building something custom for it.
We're going to build a rack on top.
Yeah.
And also
or even on the tent. You can actually put that on a tent.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
They're actually, once you get working with them on vans and stuff, they're a really nice size. Like I put one on my Chevy Astro van. Well, it's a Safari, but and it fits perfect. It's way low key.
So the last question I have before we actually test one of these, because I'm going to actually make you test one,
sure, let's do it.
Is what is the difference in weight rating and hail rating on yours compared to the other ones?
I mean, I have not got the slightest idea, but I would say that these absolutely have to be tip top. They got to handle everything: hurricanes, hail, everything. I mean, they're going on.
Don't you have a
houses.
video of you jumping on one?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay, don't do that. However, they handle your body weight.
They handle it. I wouldn't walk on them because it's not good.
They're not like walkable solar panels.
They're not walkable, but they're industrial grade. They can handle, I believe, hail, right?
Oh, they'll handle it.
He said they're on houses.
Yeah, right. They're on houses.
They handle everything for 25 years. These are generally warranted to 25 years for output.
25 years?
25 years.
What are the little ones warranted at, and what are
It varies widely, but they're all small companies. Like I said, they're all, even the biggest of the small panels is a tiny itsy bitsy fraction of what the big panels are.
Right.
It's not even close to close. They don't have the resources to be on the cutting edge of anything. I'm sure they're not even developing their own cells. I don't know for sure.
So you have a 25-year warranty on a panel. I think your batteries are what, 10?
Well, the Lions are lifetime to 3,500 cycles.
That's crazy.
That's once a day.
So you pretty much have a kit warranted.
I mean, I don't get people really excited about the warranties on these because if they're going on vans, there might be exclusions.
Okay.
And plus they're almost at this point these things are cheap enough where it would be more expensive to ship it to them.
True story.
And then mess with them and stuff like that. Lowest failure rate of any component by a long shot.
Gotcha.
Very rarely have any problems.
So the exciting part for me right now is I'm going to have you test this. However, we're going to test it with this guy right here, which is the Light Harvest Solar portable power station.
That's right. We started our own brand.
Right. The baby. He has got he's got two of these style, and then you have one more coming.
Yeah, we got one more coming. 2,000 watt inverter, which is huge. 1.7 kilowatt hour battery that would be going up to 2 kilowatt hour battery, and a 2,000 watt inverter. Between those three things, yeah, you got a monster of a system that is super duper effective for any kind of RVing.
The reason I bring up your portable power station and your solar panel is because if I was to hook up a little solar panel to this one, it will charge it, but it doesn't charge it as efficient as this one.
No, yeah, it's a fast thing.
It's a fast. You actually had this one hooked up to the your big one that you had. You said you charged it up in what, 2, 3? No, it's like 4 or 5.
No, that's one. I had 2 of these hooked up to the big one. And it has a little bit smaller battery than that, and yeah, it was really fast.
It was fast, okay.
Yeah, it was really fast. It would be in van life, if you were able to get 2 of these and that, you know, you would be like cooking every morning, back totally full by, you know, 10, noon, I don't know, whatever it is, real fast.
So can we test it?
Yeah, sure.
I'm holding a camera, so Sydney, can you grab that?
You got that? It's a little bit wonky.
They invited the lady here to do the heavy lifting.
Okay, here,
true story.
There's the cord.
That's heavy right there.
The cord?
Yeah.
Sydney, that's not that heavy, is it?
Not at all. No, this honestly, I haven't been working out. Not my most physically fit season of life.
So now we're out here in the bright sun, so.
And you might even be able to see the cells a little bit better on this one. I don't know if you can.
Oh, there, yeah, you can see them a little bit, hopefully. Yeah. And then how is it in the back?
Okay, so this is an industry standard cord, MC4s. If they don't have MC4s, don't even.
Did you take that right off the wall? I didn't even realize you took it right off the wall.
I just took it right off the wall. Okay, so Sydney, will you grab that cord? I want to show how easy it is to deal with these things and get up and running. Just plug it in. It'll only go one way. Just push it in. Okay.
Oh, here's the little click.
Yep.
Okay.
Other side?
I do mean it when I say if I can get this. Literally,
Okay.
Ella could.
Okay, so we're just gonna, let's see, I can get this easy enough by myself here.
You're just gonna lay it down for us?
Yeah.
You're not even gonna angle it, are you?
No, we don't need to. Okay, and then, so the next thing is we just plug it in right here, and now we are fired up. Let me see. So you can see, well, we're in it a little bit, so there you go. 242 watts, it's charging, you know, that's all you got to do. I could plug in alternating current and have it.
I wonder if there's a glare on that camera.
These screens are not super easy to come up with. I've had a little bit of trouble photography-wise.
I know. Well, it's okay.
Nonetheless, it's going. It is powering. You know, 200 and X number watt. That's all I had to do. I could take this out anywhere and do pumps or saws or drills or chainsaws or cook or whatever I want.
I mean, Miles, I think you just sold me. I think I'm gonna put that in my Jeep. I'm gonna have a version of your portable power station, and I'm good to go.
You will be good to go.
I'll be good to go.
You'll be really good to go. Yeah, because you'll be cooking in microwaves.
I do. I love it. I'm doing everything electric.
How do you clean these? Just soap
I
and
usually
water?
use, yeah.
That's a great question.
Fiber and water, but
Yeah.
as you
There's
can
little
see, I
fingerprints.
really don't. I mean, I don't know if you can see up there, but some
Just
of
good
these
panels.
panels up there are completely. This tree puts down a lot of pitch on them, and they're dirty. And it's still, it goes down a lot. I don't clean mine that much. I don't have time. I get
I've
plenty
never
of power.
cleaned mine, but I don't see them very much because they're up there. But I was just looking at this one, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've heard of people cleaning their solar panels.
Some people get crazy with it. I don't really have time.
Sydney, do you have any other questions before we kind of end this?
I don't think so. I mean, I think.
Did you learn anything?
I definitely learned a lot, and I do think it's really interesting. We talked a lot about all of this stuff, but it's just very easy. Aside from it obviously being super efficient and like, you know what I mean? Like, you want the best possible system, but for people who don't know how to set up all the wiring and the kits, and I'm sure they've seen in some of your videos how beautifully done a lot of those solar systems are, like the electrical setups in general. But there's only 3 things. You know what I mean? Like, there's literally solar panel, 1 wire, and 1 of these.
Isn't that
I just
crazy?
think that's really important because, like, for somebody like myself, if I was going to DIY my next van, I wouldn't be able to do a full electrical setup at all. I would have to pay a professional to do that at least. And so I just think that this is important for people to understand because it's like, I mean, that just saves you weeks worth of trying to figure stuff out.
What
And
is-
a lot of potential mistakes.
Sorry.
Yeah,
what?
and like fire hazards. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we've done videos with you in the past. We showed the whole kit being built. You don't have to do any of that with just this right here.
Right.
No, none of it. None of it. It's just, you know, you can see the plugs right?
Yeah.
There you have it. I mean, we are literally up and running. I could take this into a van and run my stuff.
How much does your portable power station cost?
Yeah, this one is $11.50. And then we've got a 2.4 kilowatt hour battery. Just it's a bigger battery, exactly the same otherwise, and it's $18.50.
And then your new one's coming in probably right after this video gets launched, but it'll be, I think you said,
$2,000.
2,000 bucks.
Sorry,
Yeah, timing wise.
Should be end of November.
November of 2020.
2020.
So 2,000 plus this, which is 600.
I get
700?
about $580 for that. And then, of course, the panels that are the next one down that I was showing you, it's a lot less expensive, to the tune of, it's not that much worse, and it's a lot less expensive.
And you can ship these no problem?
Oh yeah.
You can ship those, and you can ship the panel, so anybody can get up and running.
I mean, I spent about that much on my electrical setup, which is genuinely so much worse. AGM batteries literally doesn't get worse. Also, I had to have professionals do it.
Yeah.
Miles wanted to go and get some stuff for us to demonstrate how powerful this little guy is. You just grabbed a pretty thick extension cord. Which
Yeah, this, and then this thing. This blower is the biggest thing I had right handy. So basically,
in regards to power-wise, it was the largest power consumption?
yeah,
Okay.
biggest power consumption.
What-
Lots of juice it takes to get these going.
Do you know, yeah, do you know how much offhand?
12 amps, it says, and that's about 1,500 watts. But I'm gonna, and this is only rated for 1,000. So, but I've done this I think before. We'll see. So we're gonna just push a quick button that turns the alternating current on, which is the house plugs. So there you go. Are we ready? So we'll give it the low. That's surprising, honestly, because it does say 12 amps, which is about 1,500 watts.
And that didn't even cut off?
No, and let's see. And I've had I did a demonstration in front of a customer with a different one that was at a 2,000 watt inverter in it, and
Yeah.
this, that I don't sell because of this.
And it shut off?
It didn't do it.
Really? We won't
You
say
know
the
which
brand.
one I'm
Yeah, I know.
talking
We
about,
won't say
though,
the
right?
brand name because we don't want to badmouth anybody.
Yeah, but look, well, I mean, I think, let's see if it'll go straight to high without cutting out.
That little thing, man, I cannot believe that handled 1,500 watts when it's only rated for 1,000.
That's
is
why
cool,
I
too.
have them, you know?
Like, what I'm thinking of, though, is that I've seen people have to build their vans in parking lots and stuff, and if they had the big one that's about to come out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Then you could buy the stuff for your van, like this, and then build your van in the parking lot or whatever from the stuff that you use
Yes,
your van
yes.
for.
Can you power?
Always trying to talk people into that.
Can you power like power saws and
Oh,
such
yeah.
easily? Right?
That's so cool.
That's mind-blowing.
Because like our friends have had to like buy shops or like rent a shop for a couple months to build out their van because they're going from van to
Right.
van because they can't do it in a parking lot because they have no system that can
to
run.
run all their tools. and
Yeah.
stuff. This will easily run a one-man work crew. One of these panels all day long.
And this little guy.
And that little guy. This would, I could, if it was a one-man show, I could build a house out of that. No problem.
A tiny home.
I'm dying.
A tiny home, maybe two people, depending. Like it won't go continuous probably all day, but it will
Right.
definitely like you cut a couple, pieces of wood, walk away, it recharges.
That will run a job site table saw.
Probably 3/4 of them. Half
Okay.
of them.
Yeah, like a
Maybe
DeWalt.
not the real big burly ones.
But what about the new one?
The new one by
That's
far.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more focused on.
Any tool.
Any tool, literally. His new one will run an air conditioner.
It'll run an air conditioner, and there's probably some welders
Dang.
it could run.
Some welders, really?
Yeah, probably so, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I'll give it a go.
We'll give it a go. We'll give it a shot.
But definitely like saws, drills,
Blows my mind.
all kinds of
So
stuff.
probably the next time we see you is actually when we're gonna have the big ones.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. Sorry, I'm making you show me
I'm
though.
totally into it. Yeah, I just.
Well, I'm actually buying one from you,
Yeah,
so
we need to go out in the field and
Yeah, let's go.
and go give it a real hard run for its money
Let's
in
go.
dusty conditions and stuff like that.
let's
Yeah.
do it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, buddy. Thank you so much for
Thank
again
you.
another video.
Of course, I'm happy to do it.
I'm so glad the sun came out and cooperated with us today.
Yeah, that's
true.
good.
We needed it for the solar video.
Right.
We got educated.
We did. I mean, I always learn stuff when I'm with Miles, so I'm glad, Sydney, you were able to be here as well. So thank you.
I feel like people talk over my heads a lot, but that was actually fantastic.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. We don't want to be bothering Miles too much more. So thank you, buddy.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Later, buddy.
Thanks.